The preachers have, developed a skill set about asking for money, right?
Right.
Now, albeit for a good cause, and whatever.
It's a skill set, and a lot of people don't like the rejection. But if you look at the rejection as opportunity and a challenge, no means not now, maybe later.
I'm going to tell you something with me. Hey, Bonnie, no means no.
I bet I can turn you.
Somehow I feel like, this isn't the end of the conversation that we're going to have. Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today we have someone with an interesting job. It's a scary job in a way, and it's something that probably touches every single person who listens to this. They know somebody, they have a family member, or they will have someone they know that has this problem. They used to call it the big C, but I think the big A is going to be the big problem in the future, and we've got to try to do something about it. So we have Varner, Alzheimer's Alliance of Smith County. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Bonnie, let's talk about you. I usually like to let the audience know more about the guest first, and then we get to what you do. So tell us, I know you grew up in Tyler.
Grew up in Tyler, I did.
And then you went to college somewhere, maybe, I don't know.
I did. I went to the University of Texas, the University of Texas in Austin.
Hook 'em horns for sure.
Hook 'em horns.
After that, okay, did you have any experience with politics being in the Capitol area?
I did. I actually majored in government and psychology at UT. Didn't really go knowing exactly what my career path would be, but part of my government degree required an internship. Mm-hmm. And so I was lucky enough to step on board Kay Bailey Hutchison's campaign for United States Senate.
The first one?
No, this would have been the third one.
All right.
So her re-election campaign. And interestingly enough, obviously she won in a landslide on that. I was the only person asked to stay on as a paid intern after that campaign. And my job then became getting her prepared to run for governor against Rick Perry.
Huh. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't have much experience being on obviously a staff or knowing much about it, but day to day, running a campaign for Kay Bailey Hutchin for a Senate race, what would that entail? What would you be doing all day long?
So I worked on the finance side of things, the fundraising, and that's really kind of going to tie my whole story together of how I am the CEO now of the Alliance, but
they need people that can raise money.
Exactly. All nonprofits need people.
Right. I mean, that's a big push. I mean, I'm tired of them calling me.
Hey, actually, we're not going to stop either until you pony up.
Yeah. There's more pressure in Smith County, I think, than any county in the state of Texas for nonprofit donations, right? It feels that way.
I would agree. I hate to use the word competitive because we're all friendly with one another, but it is, if we're looking at it from a business standpoint, raising money in this county, in this city is competitive any way you cut it. So, and we're dealing with a lot of, different things. Obviously, the economy this year has been interesting. There's a transition of wealth happening, very much so in our community, too. People my age are not giving like their parents did. And
yes, you're not. But people my age seem to be.
Right. Correct. So that it's always a challenge raising money. And it's a really niche profession, honestly, because you think about there are people who are uncomfortable making asks of any kind, but making asks for money is even more challenging, and it takes a different skill set, really, and a different kind of person. So,
did you raise money for Kay Bailey Hutchinson?
I did. So that's where I got my start, and I think I kind of proved myself on our Senate campaign, and that's why I got asked to be a part of the gubernatorial campaign. So I went from intern to internship. And I graduated from UT in 2007, right as the recession was hitting.
Right. 2008 is when the stock market went
correct.
down.
So a lot of my friends in college, instead of working on getting a job, they were working and getting into grad school. So
just to keep out of the workforce.
And I didn't really want to go that route because I'd also been an intern at Texas Monthly Magazine. And so before I even graduated, UT had a job offer from Texas Monthly Magazine. In fact, I had to take my final exams my senior year on a Saturday because I was already working.
What were you going to do for Texas Monthly? Be a writer, a government writer, or what?
No, I was actually in sales. I was supporting in the ad sales, the nationwide ad sales department and the statewide sales. So for Texas Monthly.
Because you probably didn't find it hard to ask people for money or
Correct.
ask people to buy a subscription.
I don't take the word no well, so that kind of helped me get there.
But what could you really do as an intern fundraising for K. Bailey Hutchison? Because you probably wouldn't have a lot of contacts with the people that had the real money, right?
Correct, but I was there, and a big part of my job was working on events. So, we've all been to campaign fundraisers. I would help plan those, help call people, help follow up. A lot of those bigger campaigns are really fast moving, and so you take pledges. And so one of the things that I got a big start on that kind of helped prepared me for the future was really calling and following up with pledges. People would pledge $1,000 and wouldn't turn it in. And so then I was kind of the tax collector there.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I wondered about that. Some people have pledged big money to colleges and not come
Correct.
through. Some people have pledged, I'm sure, to campaigns, but I wondered how prevalent that was, because some people like to have some influence with the politicians, and they like to see their money.
Correct.
Right? I mean,
Correct. Yeah.
It's
called a spade a spade. Yes.
I mean, there's no secret in politics that
Right.
money talks.
Correct.
It buys access, whether it should or not. It does, right? I mean,
Yeah.
somebody will answer my call if I send them 10,000.
Yeah.
Maybe
Depends on the
maybe have to be
depends on
20,
the level there.
20.
Maybe 20.
Well, that's interesting. That the nonprofit, like the Alzheimer's Alliance, would be smart enough to look for you or find you to come in this position. How do you think that happened?
A lot of it was timing, to be honest, but I think I also, before I worked for the Alliance, I'd had my children, was raising a family, but still had one kind of foot in the political world. And I actually moved back to Tyler from New York City, and I didn't think I would get involved in politics. And Don Warren, he was actually running his mayor campaign against John Nix. He had an opponent. He was looking for someone to help on the campaign, and I was here, and so that kind of helped get me to the Alzheimer's Alliance, because that was kind of my first job off of being a stay-at-home mom, and so I think my reputation a little bit preceded me there. And then, again, it's such a niche thing, fundraising. So I got into the Alliance because they needed a development director. And there's just not, obviously, like you said, there's competition for funds in the county, and there's just not a ton of people who do it. So.
Existing relationships matter too.
Existing relationships.
Especially in Tyler, right?
Always. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is, in my experience, the best way to get hired, especially in a community like ours.
So when you came here to Tyler, when you helped Don Warren, was that he's been the mayor for what, 2 or 3 terms? He's term limited, I know.
Right.
But when did you come and help him?
So,
when he first ran?
Correct. He was a city councilman, and he could have done it on his own, I'm sure, but he had an opponent when I came on. John Nix was running against him.
And then did he drop out or something?
John Nix did, yes.
Yeah, but he's back in the game now.
Back in the game.
I mean, we're about to have a book ban argument coming our way on the mayors. Right?
We are. Prime debate.
I have bought the book Out of Darkness, and I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
A love affair between an African-American Hispanic, 1937, New London, school explosion. This book has ignited this city over, that book shouldn't be in that section. Have you heard this?
Yes, of course I've heard this.
I mean, have you seen these commercials that have started out already?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to be in for a wild ride between now and March.
Yes, May. Their election's in May.
Oh, it's a primary?
No, it's a city election.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we don't have a political affiliation.
Correct. So that'll be in May, early May, and there will be a runoff.
I mean, Don has made his feelings clear in the podcast.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw Don's.
No.
Okay, I interviewed Don, and he talked about that. So it's interesting. He also talked about a way that he felt like really helped him get elected, and I'm curious now that I know this about you, whether or not you helped him. He said he got a list of everybody who had voted in his city council district, and he wrote every single one of them a letter. Was that your idea?
Perhaps.
All right. And people were surprised, and it was like 900 and something people. I mean,
right.
And he swears he didn't have an auto pen. He actually wrote them
No, he
himself.
doesn't. I can verify completely, no auto pen.
And he believes that was the difference, but he really, I don't know if that he had an opponent.
Right, for city council? Yeah, that was not.
No, I'm talking about the mayor
Oh,
race.
mayor. By the time we got around to the election, John Nix had dropped out, so he didn't. But here's the thing, and I'll give some free, unsolicited campaign strategy. You're always playing ball to set up for the next run. So whether that is you're running for mayor and you eventually want to run for state senator, you're setting the groundwork. So if you don't have an opponent, you still want to raise money, you still want to put effort in, you still want to lay the groundwork for the next thing, if that's what you're aspiring to do.
Because those accounts you can use going forward.
Right. And well, yes.
They raise money and use that to keep going.
Yes. And more importantly, your contact with voters is important. Money at the end of the day doesn't win your campaign. The vote.
Somebody has to vote.
Exactly.
I mean, I try to tell them like Nathaniel Wren, hey, I'm sorry, man, you don't have an opponent. I don't know why I should give you any money.
Right. But you never know what his game book is like looking forward. And you also don't know how they can use those funds to help others. A lot of congressmen, senators, governors, they set up PACs. They make PACs and they end up donating those funds to someone else. In Texas, we have a big down ballot kind of assistance program, I would say. I worked for a PAC in Austin, the Associated Republicans of Texas, and our whole program was helping sway influential races in other districts, helping down ballot.
Like comptroller or somebody that nobody's all fired
state rep, if we've got, a contentious state rep, race somewhere else.
We never have one here.
Not here, but, the border towns. Outside
Maybe
of big
there's
cities.
A Republican down there that has a chance.
Correct.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. And the PAC that I worked for, we would actually do media training. We would do campaign training. We'd give them funds. We'd also educate them on how to run a campaign. So, you also have all these tiny districts in Texas where,
254
you may not
counties, right?
Yeah, you may not be representing a ton of people, but you still have a vote in the legislature. It still matters to a party that we are filling, the seats as much as we can with our party representative. So that's important when you give to uncontested candidates. Like that money may go somewhere else down the road to help some other race that you will care about.
I mean, politics has gotten very technical these days, right? With the money and the thoughts and working together. I mean, right? I mean, there's a lot of collaboration.
Yes.
Because, I'm a trial lawyer, obviously. And, we as a group, TTLA, support, some Republicans, right? I mean, that are more, sympathetic to some of the issues that we care about, right?
Right.
So they're getting money from all places, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter how they get it. They don't care, do they?
No. And there's a big, when I was working on Kay Bailey's race for governor against Rick Perry, there were a ton of really influential business people in Texas that gave to both campaigns too.
Right. I mean, so, that's called hedging your bet.
It's called hedging your bet. And that's when I go back to,
Sheriff, I support you. Sheriff, I support
correct, you. Exactly. And a lot of times, depending on what your business affiliation is, it's the smart move.
For sure. Right. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it seems like it shouldn't be that way, but we know it is.
It's correct.
Now, I just want to know what the threshold is so I can donate just below on both so when it gets reported, nobody knows where I am. Right?
Yeah.
There's a threshold somewhere.
Well, it depends on the race and it depends on the state about how much money you can give to a candidate. And, judges are different than someone running for governor. Texas, we have no limits, which when I was, running.
I was about to ask this.
It's so fun. Whenever I was working for Kay Hutchison running against Rick Perry, I'd get to call and ask for a $50,000 check, $100,000 check, and you'd be really shocked at how easy it was to turn some of that money over, and it made it really fun.
But I mean, hasn't the money in politics just continually escalated to where when you started versus how it is now, it's so much easier to give a lot of money?
Yes. Well, yeah, especially when we're talking about federal races. Federal races, there's where the restrictions are. So Senate races, president, they have, limits on what you can give, but then they came in and made these super PACs.
Right.
And so that's the loophole there. And a lot of the super PACs, they have,
Citizens United case?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Right, when they said a corporation is like a person,
Right.
and then the whole thing is now just it's a $1 billion race every time a president runs.
Yeah, it's huge,
Uh,
and it costs that much, and I wish it didn't. And then even some of these local races,
who are the winners? The advertisers?
right?
I mean, the
Right?
TV stations,
Yeah. There
right?
yeah, there's a lot of people making a lot of money, but, if we go back to, like, local politics, you go back to the mayor race where we have 3 people running, how I feel about the cost of that campaign, I have feelings about it because I don't know that we want, our local campaigns costing, in excess of $200,000. Not that this one will, but
Right. I mean,
if it'll get there.
people would never want to run.
Right.
I mean, they say there's no way I can raise that much money.
Or if have a candidate that's extremely personally wealthy. I mean, he's already got or he or she already has you know, they've got the bag. And
I've got my eye on the mayor's job.
You do?
No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
That would be fun.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't have the political demeanor.
Right.
Like, I mean, you see these guys, and I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they get attacked, especially the higher up you get, and they're always smiling and glad handing. And, it's like, man, that'd be tough to do that all the time.
Yeah.
But you saw it. That's what they
saw
had to
it.
do.
That's what they had to do. And it's exhausting, and it's a strain not only on them, it's a strain on their families. I mean, you've got to have a whole family participation in this, really.
Yeah. I mean, when we had Congressman Moran on, I mean, he talked about it, how much he's gone, how hard it is. Some people, no matter what you do, they somehow hate you.
Right.
Right. I mean, they hate you. They don't just dislike or disapprove your position. They hate your guts.
Correct.
I mean,
and you should probably make every decision knowing that 50% of people are going to be mad at you.
Right. I mean, I think that's probably a good mindset. And I guess you've adopted that yourself in the fundraising, personality that you developed, and being able to just look at people and say, hey, can you give me some money?
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
yeah, you're going to get a yes or no, but.
I mean, you remind me of a Baptist preacher. I don't think anybody can ask.
No.
Well, I'm just saying, I think the preachers have, developed a skill set about asking for money, right?
Right.
Now, albeit for a good cause, and whatever.
Right.
But it is hard to ask people for money.
It's a skill set, and a lot of people don't like the rejection. But if you look at the rejection as opportunity and a challenge, I mean, that's kind of how I do it. No means not now, maybe later.
Okay.
So
no, I mean, I'm going to tell you something with me. Hey, Bonnie, no means no.
I bet I can turn you. I'm really good at peer pressure.
Somehow I feel like, this isn't the end of the conversation that we're going to have. But I mean,
it's never the end.
I mean, let's cancel the show here now, Chris, and take this down. But no, I mean, really, I bet executive directors and CEOs in Tyler, I think there's a 7-year lifespan or something like that before charities seem to change. Is that right?
Well, I think really, if we're adapting to the climate, you need to change every 5 to 7 years. I mean,
with the person leading the organization, does that
correct.
mean you're on the way out?
No.
Oh, okay. Except for you because of your skill set.
Well, I mean, I've came in and I've made a lot of changes to the organization, and that goes back to, some of the employees were happy about it, some weren't. But
that's always the case.
It's always the case. You can't please everybody, but everything's always changing.
Everything.
The way you ask for money's got to change. The way you operate's got to change. We've got we're working with a prolific, non-curable disease in a community that's growing and aging. We've got to be able to accommodate growth. So, that's one of the challenges of leading anything is you're going to make changes and you're going to make people mad, and you just have to keep going forward.
What about, your position? I mean, I know you're the CEO, and it's called, you refer to it, we call it the Alliance.
Yeah.
And it's Alzheimer's Alliance of Smith County.
Correct.
Just to jump back on the history, as I researched, it was like supposedly 8 caregivers in 1982 came together.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that they all were brought together by maybe the disease and a family member.
Correct.
I have a little experience, and so do all my childhood friends. I think the youngest person who ever died was Marilyn Shepard from Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And I think she was 41 years of age. and she had a son that was my age. And because I saw that Joe Shepherd was a board member emeritus.
Yeah.
And I wondered if that was the connection.
Yes. Yes. Most of our board members, I mean, everyone has a connection to this disease.
Right. But when I saw him, all I could think about was Marilyn Shepherd passing away in her early 40s from Alzheimer. And everybody's like, what is Alzheimer's?
Right. Yes. And it was still, so when the support group started for the Alliance back in the 80s, it was still pretty taboo.
Right. I mean, this is 82.
Right. And this is, a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to admit to having it.
It could be embarrassing if other people didn't understand what it was.
Correct. And it was really, that was still a time when I think Alzheimer's and dementia was tied to like senility, like you were senile, you're old and senile.
Old man, can't find his car keys.
Right.
I mean.
Right. And then, you have all these great people and it literally affects anyone. So you'll have someone who had a brilliant career as a doctor all of a sudden, not knowing who he is. It is
There's people in Tyler that I know that fit the description you just said.
Right. Yes, of course.
And so it's kind of a random striker, right? I mean, it's not, it's hereditary, some kind of protein, maybe some environmental factors or something else that we hadn't got our hands on.
Right. So there's I'm going to try to explain this as simply as I can, maybe definitely oversimplifying it. But right, there are so many factors that contribute to the disease. Like you said, there are two proteins. There's amyloid and tau. The amyloid protein, if we're looking at a brain cell, the amyloid protein will sit on the brain cell.
Create a plaque?
It creates a plaque. And this is normal. Everybody has plaque buildup in their brain. So you may have just as much as someone with Alzheimer's right now, but how it affects your brain, that's really kind of the question here. But
diet, exercise, and not smoking?
Diet, exercise, not smoking, sleep, continued learning, and no social isolation.
And that helps keep people as good as they could be?
As good as they could be. So, the main factor with the disease is age, right?
Right.
Okay,
unless it strikes somebody who's 41.
Well, that would be early onset Alzheimer's. And that's probably the cruelest, and it goes really fast.
And it's rare, right?
It's pretty rare. But I will say we have several clients in their 40s. So it's rare, but not uncommon. Or maybe it's uncommon, but not rare. So anyways, the tau protein and the amyloid protein, they create these plaque.
These are natural proteins that we all have inside of us.
Correct.
All right.
So the amyloid's going to sit on top of your brain cell, and it can really be the instigator of the disease. And it can actually instigate the growth and formation of the tau protein, which is going to interlock within your brain cells. The tau is going to prohibit your, one brain cell from shooting to the next. Because, that's all it is like connections in your brain. Like
synapse.
Yeah, the synapse. Synapse.
And something like, what about, is it an autoimmune response like when the body thinks that there's an invader and it attacks itself?
So, yeah, similar, yes. And it's inflammation, basically.
Inflammation is that's what it is. That's in the body.
Correct.
Increasing blood nutrients in the same areas why you have red skin where it's inflammation and hotter.
Right. Correct. So it's the inflammation in the proteins that create the plaque that's in your brain. And the tau, it actually will, prohibit the, one synapse from speaking to the other. So
and eventually that multiplies?
Yes.
Kind of like cancer mutates?
Yes. And it'll get more ingrained. So then, different synapses aren't firing correctly or they're picking up incorrectly. That's why, a lot of people who have like early onset Alzheimer's, they'll forget how to swallow. They'll starve to death, basically, essentially, because their body has forgotten these functions. So it's not just a memory issue.
I mean, isn't that wild?
It's wild.
To think that you would have to remember to breathe or to remember to swallow.
But that's what your brain is essentially remembering, to swallow and breathe. It just is happening so fast. We're not picking up that our brain is remembering to do that.
Is that what ultimately leads to the demise of people with Alzheimer's? Is that they're not able to, breathe or remember to breathe or eat or anything like that?
It can. That's a factor. Other illness can be a factor. another disease simultaneously. But then we also, if you have
like diabetes and
right,
other things that are
or
going.
cancer, or,
Yeah.
but another factor is, when you have dementia and Alzheimer's, like the risk of falling, self-injury, car accidents,
Wandering away.
wandering away,
I mean,
that all is increased.
yeah, it's like
Depression,
it's tough. It's got to be tough for people that have it and people that care for them, day to day.
right. It is, and there's actually been research, and a lot of what we do at the Alliance is for caregiver assistance and really helping support the caregiver because they're kind of forgotten, but like they're in the trenches there.
Right.
And there's been research done on caregiver burden. So if you take all these cohorts of caregivers, people caring for children, people caring for sick children, people caring for people with cancer, all these things, they've found that the most intense caregiver burden emotionally and physical on your emotional, mental, and physical health is Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a round the clock job. And,
And it's different from cancer in that there's not the hope right now that maybe a chemotherapy or radiation might somehow make it better.
right.
Right? I mean, there's not that available today.
There's trial drugs and there are drugs, early intervention drugs. All of these, I want, want to say, are based on early intervention. So, making sure that you do memory screenings at a certain age and making sure that if Alzheimer's runs in your family, you get screened early on because the trials and the good trials, you need to have that early diagnosis. And then for the drugs that are intervening, they're not really clearing up the plaque that I'm talking about or preventing the
Holding it at bay.
Yes, it's just so the interventions for the disease are basically to improve your quality of life and your longevity.
And it just kind of draws it out where you don't demise as quickly.
Correct.
Now, the numbers for Smith County, I looked at something. I don't know if these are right. You probably know better. 4,500 in Smith County with Alzheimer's in 2025.
Sounds right. Yep.
490,000 with Alzheimer's in Texas, 2025.
Yeah.
I watched a program, preparing for this interview, to try to get an idea of what people are saying nationally about facts, figures in the future. And they said 5 million people in the United States right now. I don't know if I'm sure you have access to probably the most up-to-date information.
Right.
But the extrapolation was kind of scary. It was like, it might be 50 million in 2050.
Correct. And with those figures, I just want to plug in the financial strain. It's one of the most expensive diseases per person per year.
I'm going there. That's why I'm headed there, Nick. One of the things the guy said, like, not only is this disease emotionally cruel, it's financially cruel.
Correct.
Okay, because, this brings up issues with elder law, your home, Medicare, Medicaid, memory care, nursing home. I mean, there's all these, your kids spending their money.
Right.
There's all this stuff coming into play, right?
Right.
And Medicare.
Right.
This guy said that I watched a program. He said 1 in 5 Medicare dollars are spent for Alzheimer's or related to Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah. I think in 2023, it was a $320 billion expense to our country. It's projected to reach close to $1 trillion by 2050.
That's what I was about to say. That's what he said.
It's crazy.
1 in $3 by then, $1 trillion 2050. That is unsustainable. That's the military budget.
Right. Right.
So, we're sitting here wondering where's this going? And that's the scariest part is because to me, I don't know unless they come up with something quick.
Yeah. Well, and I think even in the time that I've been at the Alliance, I've seen the research. It's skewed from cure to now we're seeing more research in terms of prevention and what environmental factors are, we seeing, brain injury, trauma. They're seeing, higher rates of dementia and Alzheimer's in people who've experienced traumatic brain injury and emotional trauma even. And so obviously that's prolific where, think about how many people, are suffering from some kind of trauma.
Yeah. I have firsthand experience with that, actually. My wife's mother fell and had a frontal lobe traumatic brain injury in 2015. And she is in a memory care home today, and she's only 72.
Right.
And she knows things, but there's all these other things.
Right.
Sometimes hallucinations, sometimes wandering. Right? I mean, there's just and so I've seen it firsthand, and uh, the impact on the family members. I mean, it's hard to look at.
It is. It is.
Um,
It is. And I think that's, one of the things that we do that's so important is just provide some hope and some relief. And I think that, from what I've seen is the people who kind of fare the best are people who early on accept it
right.
and figure out how can I have the best life possible, going through this.
This is the person who has it, or
Yes.
this is the
Both.
spouse or caregiver, or
Both.
Okay.
I think it's, there are still a lot of people who don't want to get a diagnosis. There are a lot of people
Yeah,
who,
like, don't tell me if I'm dying.
right.
Right? I mean,
Right.
I don't want to know the day. Would you want to know the day and the hour that you died is the question. And you say, some people say yes, some people say no.
Exactly. I don't know.
I mean, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Maybe.
I mean, I might be turning it loose from here.
But if you
I
found
knew.
out you were going to die 2 years from now, you would
mean,
turn it loose,
I'll be-
right? Tomorrow would be a lot different.
Hey, I'm living on borrowed time now. I'm turning it loose now.
We're all on borrowed time. That's
I mean,
right.
I'm turning it loose. I'm
We're-
leaving here and turning it loose, man. The people that come to the Alzheimer's Alliance, I would assume it would be in a category of maybe 3 different groups, like people that are concerned that maybe something is happening
Correct.
with
Okay.
a spouse or a loved one, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then people that know they're experiencing, Alzheimer's type symptoms.
Right.
And then these are just me coming up. And then someone who's seeing a progression that's kind of fast and they're scared about it.
Right. Yes. I would say you're exactly right. We do memory screening. So we have people who just want to be proactive and are healthy and they come. We get a lot of referrals from physicians, luckily. So people
For a screening?
for a screening, or just, they're seeing that this person has dementia. It's really hard to get an actual dementia and Alzheimer's diagnosis. And there are a lot of people, in some of these.
Why do you think that is? Is that because of insurance companies, coding, Medicare payments? Why do you think that is?
In our community specifically, I think that we're seeing, in general, we're seeing a lot of people not going into the geriatric side of medicine.
Because there's no money in it.
Right. Well, in neuropsychology, there's, nobody's wanting to do that. Neuropsychiatry, neurology even. And I've got to give a lot of props to UT Tyler and the medical school because they're really, really focusing a lot on neurology and Alzheimer's and dementia. We've got an Alzheimer's and Dementia Center tied to the medical school out
They're
there.
anticipating what's coming.
Yes. And let's, if you want our medical school, this is just me talking.
Yeah, no.
If we want our medical school to really get on the map, if we're like the premier school for, neurology or Alzheimer's and dementia, like it's gonna do something. I mean, so
it reminds me of the chest hospital during the asbestos and tuberculosis out on 271, right? It was a famous chest x-ray, chest problem. I don't know if you know this, but yeah. And so all that research out there out on 271 was all related to, chest and pulmonary problems.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get put on the map for this.
Maybe.
I don't know that we want to be.
No, but if we can get, research, that's a good thing to get on the map. And there was just a bill passed that's in Texas that's going to supply a lot of funding for research for Alzheimer's and dementia. People are starting to see the writing on the wall on where this is going and where this is headed.
Right. I mean, it's not been given a lot of federal funding relative to cardiovascular disease, COVID problems, right? I mean,
right.
It's kind of over there like it's not a real thing when
right.
it's a huge thing.
Right. And I think even, on a micro scale, raising money for the Alliance, for example, a lot of people see this as an old person's disease. Why do I give my money? They're going to die anyways. This is not just a disease that affects old people. I mean, it affects the caregivers exponentially. It affects families. Like everyone in this room can say we've been touched by the disease in some way.
And really, counseling and planning are the primary things, really the only things that we can give people right now. Is that right?
Support. And I think, We have a program at the Alliance. It's our day club program, and it's really people who are still pretty well functioning with dementia and Alzheimer's. They come for 4 hours, and we do music therapy, physical therapy, activities, games. We bring in live music, art, and it's a time to get those people doing something and being, out of the house. And it also gives our caregivers a respite time.
Right.
And we don't turn anyone away. We have a sliding scale for income, but the most you'll ever pay for 4 hours with us is $50. And it's a great way for those caretakers. I mean, some of those caretakers, that's the only time they can go to the doctor, or they can go to the grocery store, or they come to one of our support groups, or they come to our counselor and get support that way. So, and it's a really unique thing that we're doing. I've had people from all over the country kind of call me at different times in my tenure asking, about like what we do and how we do it and the model and if we're ever going to franchise out.
Because it's called what, the day club?
It's a day club, and a lot of people in there. This is really great and sweet. You would probably be kind of hesitant to maybe go and do that, but a lot of people in there think they're the volunteer. So
they think they're helping.
Yes, they think they're helping. They think that their peers that are in there are their volunteer mission. And so it gives them a sense of purpose, and it's awesome. And we have people who've been volunteering in day club as actual volunteers for 15, 20 years.
That don't have Alzheimer's.
No, they just love the program. They see the impact it has on families, and they keep coming back. It's just very rewarding. But we'll have someone, maybe someone that was really involved in the junior league, and now she's got Alzheimer's. Well, all of a sudden she thinks day club is part of her junior league volunteer work. And so she's happy. She's happy,
yeah.
And she's there, and she's doing something, and her spouse is, getting some relief, and
relieved that she's a place that she's happy.
Right.
If it's a she, if it's a
he,
exactly.
Whoever. Exactly.
Yeah, I've read that people with Alzheimer's, they like to stay busy, or they like activities for some reason. Is that your experience?
I think it really depends on the individual, and it's really interesting kind of what you see, because in some people, their personality stays very much the same. And some people, it's a pretty dramatic shift, which can be hard for loved ones, obviously.
Anger.
Paranoia, defensive.
Like, hey, who is that? Why are you talking to him? You're cheating on me, right?
Right. A lot of people.
I've heard that. And I had a close friend, that his dad ended up that way. And he had to go to because he was getting, a little physical, and he was so paranoid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But when you talked to him, it seemed like he was normal until he asked me for the 5th time in 3 minutes if I was going to stay for dinner.
Right.
Right? I mean, isn't that a kind of a telltale sign?
Yeah, it's just short term. So it's mostly your short term memory that's really affected. And so there are people that think they're in their 20s. A lot of people go wandering from their home that they may have lived in for 30 years, but they're looking for their childhood home. They don't recognize that as home. In their mind, they're trying to find their childhood home. And they're like, take me home. No, this isn't my home, or this isn't my wife.
Right.
So
that's who are you?
Right.
Right. I mean, that happened in our case, where my mother-in-law would say to her husband, who are you?
Right.
Who is this man in my house?
Right.
I mean, that kind of, and like, obviously that's hard on him and everybody else. But, I've got an Alzheimer's story that's along the wandering. When I went to UT, and this is a long time ago, right? I graduated in 1989.
No way.
Huh?
No way.
Yeah. No, I did. I'm driving back, and I'm outside of Waco, and I see an old man. I'm telling, gray-headed, clearly he was old, okay? Like he had to be 70-something at least. He's walking on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, there's no town. There's no nothing. And I looked at him, and I pulled over, and I go, hey, man. And he was talking to me totally normal. I was like, hey, what are you doing out here? He goes, I ran out of gas. And, of course, he drove his car till he ran out of gas.
Right.
So I loaded him up and just drove into Waco and figured I could see a cop somewhere and tell them. Well, sure enough, they said, "Hey, we've been looking for this guy for 3 days."
Right.
And I was
Wow.
like, but I just had a feeling by the way he was, but
Yeah, it's scary. And one of the things we do is we have a Project Lifesaver bracelet, and we work with Smith County Sheriff Department and Tyler Police Department. And so it's different than like air tagging someone because this is a radio frequency. So it can get wet, it can go through water, it doesn't lose a signal. And if I could put one on everybody in the county that has Alzheimer's or dementia, I would, because there have been people who, instead of having the gray alert, of a missing elder,
right,
people have been recovered within 30 minutes. So it saves a lot of strain on law
right, and
enforcement.
that would have been a good thing for that man
Correct.
because I have read 70% of Alzheimer's patients will wander.
Correct.
Um,
Yes.
and I've seen that ankle bracelet or wrist bracelet. I think you can put it either
You
place.
can put it either place.
Yeah, it's on your website.
Yes, it is.
And you're right. You can shower in it. You can do all these things in it. And if somebody wanders off, I guess, and this is in concert with the police department.
Tyler Police Department, they have a transmitter that'll help find them, and so does the Smith County Sheriff's Department. And we also do first responder and law enforcement training. There's a big gap in people don't know how to talk to people with Alzheimer's and dementia.
I've read that as well. They get aggravated when they need to de-escalate.
Right, yes, and they get really think about it, if you don't know where you are, if you think you're back in 1968 and somebody comes up to you and
Yeah, I know, right.
you're scared. So there's a way of talking to people, and we try to educate the community on that. We have an education program, too, that's really interesting for financial institutions, because the amount of people taking advantage of people with Alzheimer's or dementia is huge. So we try to teach scams, but even banking institutions, even, in-home caregivers, even family trying to rob these people is
yeah, I mean,
tragic.
Right. I mean, that's a low blow there on any scale. But until they're intercepted by a family member, I guess they could be taken advantage of along the way.
Correct, because it goes back to, an Alzheimer's dementia diagnosis is extremely hard to get. There's a backlog on getting that testing done because we don't have enough people doing the testing. We don't have enough people admitting they need the testing. But it's, like getting a power of attorney. If you don't have anyone overseeing your finances, you're a consenting adult.
Right.
If you don't have an official Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis and someone robs you for $30,000, which we've seen, and you wrote the check and you signed it, you don't have a lot of leg to stand up currently in our, judicial system. So
Alzheimer's, as I understand it, is under the dementia umbrella, and it represents 60 to 70% of dementia.
Yes.
And how, with that being the case, how does one get diagnosed with dementia separate and apart from Alzheimer's?
Well, a lot of it is figuring out kind of a process of elimination. There is a spinal tap. There's some genetic testing now that you can do. For Alzheimer's and different dementias, there's different kind of written tests. It just depends on kind of the symptoms that you're showing. There's over 100 dementias. Alzheimer's is the name brand one.
Is it set apart by certain symptoms that dementia does not have?
Alzheimer's?
Yes.
No, most dementias will have symptoms that Alzheimer's has. There are different dementias. Like you can get a reversible dementia would be like a UTI. I don't know if you've ever heard of people getting urinary tract infections and having dementia.
Dementia?
Yeah, they'll have dementia-like symptoms until
just caused by the infection?
Caused by the infection.
Huh.
Head injury, stroke. Some of those have reversible dementia.
Right. I've known people in personal injuries aspects have been injured and over 18 months have gotten better.
Right.
Improved.
Bruce Willis, he has a dementia that prevents him from being able to communicate.
Right. He doesn't have Alzheimer's, does
No, it's not. It's a different dementia. Robin Williams, the actor,
had something.
He had Lewy body dementia. That probably, obviously, he killed himself.
He did.
There's a great chance that the dementia, which causes paranoia and extreme depression and suicidal ideation, caused him to kill himself.
Alzheimer's the word. I'm assuming that's some doctor who discovered this.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I guess my question would be, separate and apart from these other dimensions you just mentioned, what did Dr. Alzheimer's discover that they gave him the name of the disease?
That would be the plaque,
The
the protein.
proteins?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So
He must have been like some kind of molecular biologist or something, right?
yeah.
He's looking at brain and blood and saying, "Hey, this person's got this stuff."
Right, and I mean, think before that, again, we thought they were either crazy or senile. Um,
What about CTE in the football world where people have these same type of symptoms? You know, what's going on physically there that is comparable to Alzheimer's?
well, I mean, the impact that it has on your brain, the trauma to your brain, goes back to, not being able to connect the synapses correctly, or some firing off and some not, taking up the firing of the other one. So it's similar in that it just affects the transmission of the communication in your brain. Um, but it's, yeah, and back to head injury, CTE, I bet we're going to see a lot of, former athletes,
Football,
football
yeah,
with
hockey, whatever,
whatever, any traumatic brain injury.
rodeoing.
Yeah. So, it's going to be really interesting. There's actually, I don't know, while you were researching, did you hear about there's a family basically in the mountains of Colombia, Central America, and basically the whole family has this genetic mutation that continues to get passed down, and it's a research gold mine for Alzheimer's, because it's Alzheimer's and it's early onset. So they're taking these people, they're related, and they're seeing that they're living to 44 or 49 years old. So they're taking brain scans early on, and they're seeing the plaque buildup starting around the age of 28. And so this cohort, and there's some cultural differences that probably make it challenging. And of course, we don't want to exploit these people in the research department, but they're going to be very influential to see what's the cause? How can we stave this off? We know these people are going to get it. We know there's a plaque buildup at 28. They're not exhibiting signs of dementia, but they have the buildup in their brain. Can we remove this plaque? Can we?
I mean, it kind of be like a brain surgery, I guess, if you were going to surgically try to remove something.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, I don't
they
know.
haven't. I don't, to my knowledge, and I don't know everything, obviously, but I don't think
I
that.
mean, I brought you here because I thought you did.
I
But
mean, I know most everything, but
you mentioned something that's I'm sure everybody's interested in. You mentioned Colombia, which is another country.
yes.
Do other countries, China, Russia, India, do countries document and report these cases like the United States? And do we know, is it happening worldwide?
It's happening worldwide. I will say, depending on the culture, and we even see that in, different cultures that are in America, the
Right.
stigmatism of anything kind of emotional or mental health related, which I think some people, see some of the symptoms in their loved ones, it's dementia, and they could think it was a mental illness. And so they're going to be hesitant to get help or report it. So,
Because schizophrenia
right,
and things like that, that used to be kind of like you said, had a huge stigma. Like this person's,
right,
my crazy aunt in the basement used to be a reference, right?
right.
Um, and then some of the signs of Alzheimer's with hallucinations and stuff, it kind of mimics those same kind of things.
Right. And you see, I'm sure, and I've heard of people, being picked up and taken to a mental health facility when really they had dementia. People being arrested, people being misunderstood. I mean, it's happening all the time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I could see how. I wonder if Alzheimer's existed, much further back than we realize, and that we just called it something else, and we just thought people's behavior was criminal or something
Right.
else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this group of people in Colombia could probably prove that. I mean, that genetic
Like how many
mutation.
generations back,
Right. I mean, that's, they all know. I'm sure now they know it's Alzheimer's. You should read about it. It's really interesting. But, they know that their longevity is affected. Their life expectancy is 49. They take care of these people really well because they all are expecting that their loved ones are going to show these signs. And it's just a normal part of life in that community. Um, But it's really interesting, and there is a lot of research being done there. And I think that if we could figure out, okay, take the 28-year-old's brain that has the plaque on it, how do we get the plaque off, or how do we keep the plaque from spreading, or how do we keep it, in the amyloid stage and not the tau stage, and how do we keep there's just a lot of questions there, and I think that's why we'll continue to see the research spreading to prevention instead of cure. I think if we can figure out how to slow it down, if you have the genetic predisposition to have the disease, which many of us do, how do we slow it down? How do we keep it from going to Alzheimer's? And I think that's where we're headed with research. But right now, they're saying diet, exercise, the things that you mentioned earlier.
Those just help. What about things like, luminosity and keeping your mind, crossword puzzles, just something as opposed to a person who gets older who's maybe retired and they're not doing anything with their mind?
Right. Well, and I would say go further than crossword puzzles. They say learning a new skill. So learning a complicated game, learning how to play bridge.
I always wanted to play guitar.
There you go.
But I can't play anything but the air drums.
I say, that's what I tell people. I'm like, oh, if it runs in your family, learn guitar or
learn
a language. Exactly.
Ah.
So an acquisition of something new helps the brain elasticity more than, a crossword puzzle. And I think the stimulation, and I think, that goes back to people who are depressed or lonely or isolated. The disease can have a faster impact because, you're not using your communication and you're not learning from other people. So keeping, your brain receptive to learning, I think is huge, and learn something new. Everybody who learns something new.
Well, we've talked about, the challenges, but, the living arrangements of a person with Alzheimer's seem to, span across, initially living alone, right? I mean, do y'all have clients that drive themselves up to Alzheimer's Alliance and they have Alzheimer's, or believe they do, but they come up there and they participate in the daycare or, and do all that?
I would say by the time they're in day club, I really hope they're not driving.
Okay.
We do a lot of counseling and support on taking cars away from people. Just go ahead and
the keys.
take the battery out. Have it towed and say it's been stolen. There are lots of great.
Like, where's my car? Where's my car is a common question.
We call it therapeutic lying. But I'm still always
a noble lie.
Yeah, right. I still am always surprised. My office is kind of up front of the building. The people like driving in the parking lot, like,
my dad. Oh my God. My dad, I don't know what he had. And it could have been just dementia from having a stroke, but he'd get in the truck and my mom couldn't stop him. And, he'd pull up to the office out. I'd be just like, Dad, you can't be driving. But, it's like that last bit of independence they do not want to get rid of.
It is.
And
and you know how stubborn people can be.
Man.
There's a lot of people who I can imagine it's very hard. That's why we're like, tow the car, tell them got stolen, take the battery out, deflate the tires, whatever it takes, because it honestly scares me.
But I guess the danger in them driving would be they just wouldn't know where they were going.
I think people get lost a lot. Yes.
But they can still drive.
They can still drive. And you have muscle memory and
it's not a physical thing.
Yeah,
so
but
much. Right, but who knows where they end up, right?
Right. We don't want them to get hurt twice.
Yes. Right. Well, I know. You've heard so much about the keys of the car.
Right.
When you hear about Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
That's the big hurdle.
Right.
And then, the living arrangements is interesting because, there's a lot of financial implications to that, right? You bring your parent into your home, potentially.
Right.
Do y'all have a lot of people that choose that option?
We do. We have a lot of people. Memory care facilities. There's some really great ones, but I think that's a hard decision for a lot of people to make. So, yes, there are a lot of round-the-clock caregivers at home. I think we as a society are not like in our socioeconomic stance. We're not really set up for taking care of our elders at home. How does a single mom with kids take care of her mom with dementia?
Especially
which
at
has
that
to work?
age.
Yeah.
Right. If they were older like me,
right.
I could, have my mom live with me if she needed to, or,
right.
But I know that's not a reality for everybody. But like you say, I mean, the cruel part goes back to now you are a parent to your parent,
Correct.
right? I mean, and
Correct.
I mean, but in a way, we kind of feel obligated. I would
Yeah.
to help as much or do as much as I can. I'm sure people feel guilty
Right.
when they have to make a decision on memory care or nursing home or
Yes. I
otherwise.
think especially spouses. I think there are
Oh
a lot of
yeah, man.
spouses that make the pact that I'll keep you at home forever.
Right.
Or spouses that don't want to be without their loved one, obviously. But there's also a lot of freedom. We've seen a lot of people kind of get a second wind in their own life when they do make that decision. Um, but it's hard. It's definitely hard. And then there's a financial aspect to it. Um,
Which I'm gonna ask you about that in a minute,
okay.
okay? But I want to know kind of, you're deep in this. I mean, you see this, 5 days a week, if not more. And you mentioned guilt, and I can only imagine it. I mean, I try to put myself in people's shoes sometimes whenever, say, well, what would I do or how would I feel? Um, you know, what do you think the people that have dementia feel? I mean, do you get a
Ooh.
sense, you know, of what they know is happening? Like they know they're getting worse. They know that they're talking about going somewhere else to live. I mean, do they know those things?
I think in the beginning, yes. Um, but I think, some people get to a place in the disease where they don't really have a concept of what's going on. But like when you're early, if you're diagnosed early and you see, what's coming down the road, I think that would be remarkably scary. But I think the people that tend to fare better, again, like have an acceptance and have a proactive, how can I make this the most comfortable for myself? How can I make it the most comfortable for my loved one that's going to care for me? Coming up with a plan, and we help do that at the Alliance. We kind of help create a roadmap for if you just got a diagnosis, kind of what to expect, and what affairs you need to get in order, and I think people being proactive in their action. I mean, just picking up the phone and calling and talking to someone for a few minutes at the Alliance, even, it's just like telling them, your concerns and getting some answers on that, I think just does a remarkable thing for your emotional well-being.
And that's why y'all are there, right? I mean,
Right,
y'all are there when people start to find out that this is going to be some part of their life, that y'all are a place that they can call and talk to people who know a lot more about it, right?
right,
And know
right,
what's available. Um, I'm sure people probably ask all the time, like, "Hey, is there any treatment?"
right, they do. And yes is the short answer. The long answer on that is it's dependent upon a lot of variables. And it depends on your symptoms and your medical history. So, but there's not a cure.
You have mentioned the people in Colombia. So I'm assuming there's a hereditary aspect to some of this. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, genetics plays a huge role in this, but it's not the only determining factor. So it may not run in your family and you get it. It may run in your family and you do get it. So you can have a brother and a sister, and maybe the brother gets it and the sister doesn't.
That's what I was about to ask. What if it does run in your family? Does that mean you're going to get it?
No, it does
Okay.
not mean you're going to get it.
So, I mean, people don't have to be scared to death if their mom had Alzheimer's, right?
Correct, correct. But that being said, if your mom had it, I would be proactive and getting your memory screenings and doing all the things that we're, thinking help, prevent the disease going quickly.
When you said your mom, did you mean that in any way related to being the birth mother of that child, or did you just choose the word mom versus dad having it?
Chose the word.
Okay.
Yeah, dad
Yeah, I mean,
or mom.
I didn't
Mom
know
or
if,
dad.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was if your mom had it, then that
No, no, no,
means,
no,
something else is you got a higher incident rate.
no,
Okay.
no.
Um, the Medicare, that's one of the first things people start talking about, or at least from what I've seen in my own life, is like, what will the government pay for relative to when they've gotten to where they're hard to keep at home?
Right. There are a lot of facilities that take Medicare. Um,
Are they memory care facilities?
yes, there are memory care facilities that take Medicare. There are some that don't,
Is
obviously.
there a hoop to get in those places? Like you have to have a diagnosis, medical or otherwise, or something?
Yes, and there's also going to be a wait list, most likely.
All right, and that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Obviously, there's, continual turnover, but there are, generally speaking, probably less memory care beds than there's a need, obviously. So,
Then nursing home beds?
yes. There are facilities that are nursing homes and memory care and
Combined?
yeah. And then there are facilities that are just memory care.
Assisted living type?
There's some are assisted living, nursing, and memory. Um, it just, there's all kinds. And there are people who can start in assisted living and you kind of know that maybe they're going to eventually end up in the memory care. But
Memory care just sounds better to me than a nursing home.
than a nursing home.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
a nursing home, conjures up images, that
Right.
that are scary.
Well,
I mean, for me, just thinking about, I visited nursing homes in the old days, and you thought,
Well, your view of a nursing home is probably someone laying in a bed in a room, right?
right. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
waiting, punching a button and waiting for somebody to come,
Right.
30 minutes later.
That would be more of like skilled nursing and memory care. If you go into a memory care facility, you'll see people walking around and doing activities and their rooms looking more like an apartment. But then you'll also see walking around the memory care will be like nursing aides, like to help and assist and make sure people are taking their medicine and doing all the things. So it's not what the memory care facility is definitely not what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that. I'm just saying, I mean, I just think the nursing home, but, I guess there's not enough room for all of society that has Alzheimer's to go to a memory care.
Correct. That would be wild.
I mean, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, some people have to end up in a nursing home when their kids can't take care of them, can't afford them, and the government will pay, right?
Well, yeah, and if they have another existing condition or they need more skilled nursing, or we're going back to if you have such advanced Alzheimer's where you can't feed yourself, where you're going to be in a nursing home.
How do you apply? Do you apply, to a memory care? Do you apply to a nursing home? If somebody's listening to this and they're worried about their parent and they know they're not going to be living alone or with them, what step would you take first? The best option for your parent, if you could afford it, if you could have it, what would you do first?
I mean, I would tour the facilities and see what I'm most comfortable with, and each facility kind of has their they have some of the same guidelines, and then there are facility-specific guidelines on, who they'll take and what they're looking for, what they're not looking for, if they can handle someone.
If they're aggressive?
If they're aggressive. There are some that will not take aggressive. There are some that will not take if you've been kicked out of another one for being aggressive. So it can be kind of tricky there.
Right.
So if you've got like a really strong healthy otherwise man who's known for aggression, you may have trouble staying.
He'd be hard to handle.
And some of them are very combative. Some of them again think they're 20 years old and get bursts of adrenaline, and it can be a task.
I mean, I saw it firsthand when my dad was in a facility for a little while. We brought him home, but it's difficult to care for people. I didn't realize, watching the nurses in the hospital on people that are halfway incapacitated.
Correct.
Right. I mean, that can't do for themselves.
Right.
I mean, I was like, man, that looks hard. Who would ever want to do that? These are special people.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
it takes a really special person, and there's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of shortage.
How stressful would that be?
It would be awful. Well, and if you were making $20 an hour as a nursing assistant, taking care of someone who's combative, I mean, can you imagine? And cleaning up after them?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very thankless job.
All of that is tough. Okay, so some of them, memory care, don't take any Medicare, right? So, I mean, if you're going there, you've got to be able to pay it yourself.
Correct. Or maybe have some kind of supplemental insurance.
Like a Medicare supplement?
Yes.
Is there, I've always wondered about this when I started thinking about it and reading about it. Is there some policy of insurance that a person can buy earlier in life that would plan just in case, where insurance companies could kind of game the system like, well, all these people now are scared to death. They're all going to take out an Alzheimer's policy and only, 22% are ever going to make a claim.
Right.
I mean, does that exist in the
I think you've
marketplace?
got an idea.
Well, I'm next level on a lot of things.
Right. Yeah.
I'm ahead of my time.
Yeah.
But I can't believe you can bet on anything in this
Right.
country.
Yeah.
In a football game, who scored the first touchdown? Who won the coin flip, right?
Right.
And the insurance is, prorated risk.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, but there's no I've heard of long-term care policy.
There are long-term care policies, yes.
Would that fit?
I think that's smart if you can do that. I think, or if you see that, or if everyone in your family has Alzheimer's,
But
say,
I'm thinking
great.
about you, and I'm thinking about Alzheimer's Alliance being the reservoir, the receptacle of that knowledge. Like, is there a policy if people, call up there and they're 32 years age and they don't have any Alzheimer's?
Right.
Their mom did, and they're like, hey, is there a certain policy I should buy, or my husband and I should buy just in case? I mean, that's kind of what I'm curious about.
That's a good question.
We may have to get to the bottom of that at the Alliance.
We're going to get to the bottom of the Alliance. We usually, if people like that call, we usually refer them to other people. We don't like to get too much in the weeds on insurance and Medicare, or really even recommending what people do. We try to guide them to make their own decisions. As you can imagine, there's a lot of liability if we start saying.
Well, no, I know what you're saying, but there has to be. I mean, there's always, there's lawyers that have developed into this field called elder law.
Yes.
That did not exist when I started practicing law.
Yes.
And they're solely trained in, if you've got a house, the government's going to get your house, or there's some kind of economic formula for you to go and your assets to deplete.
Right.
And we
refer to elder lawyers. And actually, there's a couple in town that have been really, really helpful to our clients. They know a ton about Medicare. They know about facilities. They know a lot about long-term care. They know about long-term disability. They're wealths of knowledge. And so that, and they help. And we, if you come in and you have an early diagnosis and you don't have a roadmap to, how this is going to go or what you need to do, one of the things we do say is go talk to, if you have any asset, and a lot of people think they don't have an asset, but if you own a home, right, or you're living in a home with a mortgage, you have an asset.
I mean, the government, do they take that over? How does that work?
If you don't have, yes.
If you're going into a facility, right?
Yes.
And I guess if you went to a Medicare facility, would your Medicare not cover it all? Or would it cover it all in some instances?
Yes, cover it all.
Okay. So when would the situation arise when a person would have a house as maybe their only asset and they needed to go to a facility? Why would the government end up, getting the equity in their home essentially? Or how would that happen?
Hopefully that would never happen.
No, but I hear them talking with lawyers about, do you have a home?
It does happen.
It's almost like a Medicare subrogation of some kind.
Yes. Basically, and that's over my head. You probably know more about that than I do, but I know that it does happen, and I know that, making sure your assets are taken care of is essential.
Because you can structure them where the government cannot get them.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
By certain designations. And
correct.
I probably need to have an elder lawyer on this show sometime.
That would be great.
To go into the financial planning aspect of a person who is in early Alzheimer's.
Yes. And we actually, we have, we call it law school lunch, and we have elder laws come and we feed people lunch and explain all this. And it's very informative.
I don't even quite understand.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that need to be in place to protect yourself from the government in some cases. So,
I know the argument. I hear it in the law all the time. It's like, well, you got hurt by someone else, you got an insurance settlement. We paid for that with Medicare, so you need to give us our money back.
Right.
And it's
Right.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You've got money, we're paying for you to be in a facility,
Right.
and I don't
To
know.
oversimplify it, it's almost like the government's goes and probates on your
Yes.
estate.
I mean, and I see, and if I look at the country from a macro scale, not a micro, and I see Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's to me is the scariest financial problem that I could foresee in the next 30 years, as far as draining the net worth of the entire country.
In terms of, in the medical, for sure.
Medical bills, your assets like your home, if it's being
Right.
drawn down, right?
Right.
The impact on your kids, and while they're trying to send their kids to college and there's all these expenses, then they've got this over here with you, right? I mean,
Right.
it looks like it leaves.
Or what about people that have to quit their job to be a full-time caretaker?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that even happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have someone in their 40s, I mean, we've had clients before who have had early onset Alzheimer's. They don't qualify for Medicare. They have to quit their job because they're not going to be able to keep it. And then you have their 40-something-year-old spouse that's all of a sudden the caretaker.
What about Medicaid? Separate and apart from Medicare, is there anything different that Medicaid will pay for versus Medicare?
Again, you're going to have to Medicaid. You're going to obviously qualify and then have to get that official diagnosis.
I mean, if I got a diagnosis, and I was under 65,
Right.
and they said, Chad, you have Alzheimer's. I guess, would that diagnosis allow me to qualify for Medicaid? I mean, to get some type of benefit?
I mean, not in your income bracket, sir.
No, I mean, right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how the qualification works at all.
Right.
Like, I'm sure is it means tested?
Yes.
I mean,
So, but that's rare. But and I don't really know because we don't deal with that specific demographic that often, obviously, because it is rare. What, private insurance is going to have to pick up a lot too. So that's the other thing. What if this person is, the insurance provider? Then it's a mess.
I mean, all of this lets the audience feel how stressful this must be when people start wading into this issue with a family member.
Correct.
I mean, it's not just you're losing someone you love; it's financially
right.
I mean, you're overwhelmed at what's about to happen.
Right. I mean, they're estimating the yearly cost, and this is low to me, is $50,000. I mean, to take care of someone with the disease.
I mean,
so
we're gonna have to be hopeful. Okay, we're gonna end this podcast we're gonna get on a more hopeful level, right?
Yes, let's go.
One of these 80 drugs that's currently being developed.
Yes.
I mean, the drug companies are good at coming in the clutch.
Right.
Right. I mean, they've always got a good one for treatment. It's not always such a good one for prevention and cure.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
But as an Alzheimer's patient, I mean, I think anything that slows the disease, that's what people would want right away, right?
Right.
It buys you time.
And your quality of life. And that's what we're looking for too, is how can we maximize the best quality of life for the most amount of time when you have this disease?
We're all going to die.
I
mean, that's, that's obvious, right? I mean, plus or minus 80 years old, 5 years either way, maybe.
Right.
So, everybody wants to have the best, 80 plus or minus 5 that they can have. And if you have Alzheimer's, I guess that kind of brings everything to the forefront.
Correct.
And I guess people should be thankful for the alliance in this sense. They should think, imagine this happening and there not being an organization with a phone number to call.
Right.
Right. Because when people call, they have, you can list them off, the counseling program, screening, testing, whatever at their disposal. Right.
Correct.
And
there are a lot of people who, they're going through this with their spouse and they're like, gosh, I wish, where I lived before Tyler had something like this to call when I was going through this with my dad, or some scenario like that, because it is very unique. And, I think we we do a disservice to seniors in our society, just across the board. And I think sometimes people feel so hopeless about this disease that it's hard for them to quantify giving money or getting involved. But, we want people to have a great, dignified, amazing quality of life. And you can have that even with the disease. In the caretakers, there can be some rewards to this too for them. So,
And they have to be, it's like anything else. If you were demoralized all the time, right? And
right,
as a caregiver,
right,
and you never had a break,
right,
it would be hard to keep the enthusiasm up necessary to do what you have to do.
right.
And that's part of the equation.
It's part of the equation. And we see a lot, unfortunately, a lot of caregivers pass away before the people with Alzheimer's.
I mean, that would just be a double whammy.
Right.
Right?
Because it's just the burnout, the physical strain, the round the clock, the sleep deprivation, everything. It's just a strain. It takes its toll emotionally and physically. So
The one of the last things I want to talk to you about is I think I saw it on your website. Is it called respite care? It's like if you qualify, it's almost like it gives a caregiver a night off, not a day lunch. Is that
right?
Am I on the right?
Yes, you're on the right track. So we provide scholarships for respite care in home and also institutional. So people who qualify, if you're going to your child's college graduation and you need an institutional.
You don't have anybody else.
You don't have anybody else. We can provide the scholarship to put that person in a memory care facility where they're safe and taken care of for a few nights.
That's money people donated to you.
Yes.
That you use to pay somebody else to let that person have a night off.
Correct. And then we also do in-home respite for people who qualify. And a lot of times, this is kind of like a lifeline. There are a lot of people who come to us like in a very, disheveled, sad, emotional state.
I mean, just
and they need a break.
A nervous wreck.
A nervous wreck. And they need a break. And they don't know who to call. They don't know who's the good in-home health companies. They can't afford it, whatever the case is. And so we provide an introduction to respite, and we can space it out. We can do it consecutively. We kind of work with the case managers to decide what people need the most. But that break can really be a game changer.
Home health does that have a place with Alzheimer's people staying at home?
Yes. So home healthcare companies, and they do a wide variety of things. They can help administer medicine. Some of them are really kind of companions, babysitters more or less.
Right.
So that in-home health care professional, make sure your loved one's not wandering or not getting in the kitchen knives.
Here's some food.
Right. Here's some food, or and that can provide the caretaker time to get out of the house. We had a client who was going through cancer treatments, and so
at the same time
they were caretaking their spouse with Alzheimer's, and so we provided respite, and that person used their respite to literally go get cancer treatments. Can you imagine?
No, that's an unselfishness to a level that I guess people are put in that situation where they're having to make these kind of decisions.
Correct. And I mean, you do what you have to do. So
that's right. If you love someone, you do what you have to do or what you can do mentally and physically, because it's hard to really, judge anybody who makes a decision that they decide to make about how to handle a family member.
Exactly.
You see that, I'm sure, a level of guilt and this and that about,
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of people we wish we could, convince them to get them in memory care facilities sooner. There are some people who
get them in there too quick. I mean, trying to shuffle them right in. Hey, the guy forgot his keys one day.
I know.
And they were introducing
We do. I mean, we have to keep a levity too at work. So we do have a lot of good Alzheimer's jokes and banter
if you can't laugh in life, it's too sad.
That's right.
I mean, it's not that it's funny that it's happening to people, but I think people have to have a release, and some things in life that are ugly and happen to people can be seen in a funny way.
Exactly. I always say there's always room for humor and gratitude in a room. And so if we can find a way to laugh about something and be thankful about our situation, we're going to fare a lot better. So,
well, I mean, it's well known that that people that laugh more are healthier and have just an overall better physical and mental outlook.
Right. And that's, that's one of the things going back to the day club program. I go in there, we always have live music and people are dancing and laughing and it's great. I mean, that's good for the spirit.
Yeah. Well, if you could tell, the audience or anybody, because you are a professional fundraiser, what would you say would be one of the reasons or a couple of reasons or however you'd present it as to why someone should consider giving money to the Alliance?
I think if you just look at the numbers alone, 1 in 3 people over the age of 65 is going to have an Alzheimer's or dementia-related diagnosis. So you are going to either be affected by this disease by getting it or being a caretaker, most likely. Those are just the numbers. I think also making sure that people in our community are educated is important. And then just providing hope and counseling and support for people who otherwise may not have anywhere to go. That's what we do. And I think just, you can't help but love providing hope. I mean, that's an easy sell, right?
Yeah, it is easy sell. I mean, the part of it, it's really education is what it sounds like to me.
Right.
When you cut through all of this, it's educating the people about what they're about to face.
Yep.
And making financial decisions in other ways. It's educating the caregivers on what's coming their way.
Right.
And how to manage that reduces stress and makes it easier.
Correct.
I mean, is that really the mission of the Alliance?
That is really the heart of things. And we haven't touched on this, but I do want to mention it because you brought up education. We're also a hub for education. We have occupational therapy students, psychology students, neuropsych students. We're going to have medical students coming through our facility and working with these people. We're trying to educate caregivers and medical health professionals how to speak to these people, how to speak to the caregivers, how to have, empathy. There are certain ways that makes people who are aggressive and defensive and scared kind of helps bring them down by talking to them and meeting where we are. And that's part of our education too. And my vision for the Alliance going forward, and we have, the medical school is a great resource. We have an Alzheimer's and Dementia Center coming to the medical school. We have these amazing doctors. Dr. Verma, she came, they brought her in just to be ahead of this Alzheimer's and dementia program at the medical school, and we work side by side with them. We have a great partnership with UT Tyler, TJC, nursing students, nursing assistant students. All those students come through our doors also. So we're offering, educational opportunities and internships as well. And it just goes back to educating everyone, not just caregivers, but educating the community. We educate law enforcement, first responders, fire, so.
What about that? The lack of education, I would think, would have led early on to maybe some elder abuse.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
right, yeah.
People that are not looking at this right.
Correct.
And do y'all ever see, something like that? Like it looks like the caregiver might be,
absolutely
mean to the.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because, in our lifetime, they've passed laws now that are criminal in nature for abusing the elderly separate and apart from just abusing a person.
Yeah.
And I often wondered if those were kind of birthed from the Alzheimer's epidemic and the consequences.
Yeah. And I think I can't go too much into it, but I'm actually a witness in a trial that's coming up for elder abuse. And so
the judge told you not to talk about it, right?
Well, I mean, I no, actually he didn't, but
okay, but they will.
They will.
Okay,
but
I'm
saying,
going to invoke the rule right now to save you from getting in trouble.
I'm not going to say much more on it, but I will say elder abuse comes up.
Just like Child Advocacy Center, right? I mean, you see something, you report it, and you say,
right.
Hey.
And, unfortunately, we work with Adult Protective Services sometimes. I mean, you've got to understand there are people who are living out alone. There are people living out in rural areas that have Alzheimer's and dementia, and they don't have loved ones. And so you can imagine some of the situations that we've been kind of called to consult on or work with adult protective services on.
I'm sure that was a messy looking house.
I mean,
right? I mean,
yes, animal hoarding. I mean, hoarding, all kinds of things. So yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like to me that Smith County is lucky in a way. If you're looking for a silver lining, as far as Alzheimer's and support for a county this size, that there is as much support, education, resource as there can be at this time sitting right here in Smith County.
I think so. And I think even if you only used I think if our organization only educated, if that was the only service we offered was education, I think it would be valuable. It's because it's needed all across the board in all industries. Just like I was saying, we're educating the bankers and the financial institutions and the wealth planners to kind of like what to look for and what, maybe some signs that, this person is
beginning to start that direction.
Right. Yeah. And so I love that about what we do, because if you're a donor, go back to impact of your dollars. Like, we're not just treating someone with Alzheimer's and dementia, we're educating the community also.
What about the counties? And other than Smith County, it says Alzheimer's Alliance of Smith County.
Mm-hmm.
Is it solely dedicated to Smith County?
We're solely dedicated to Smith County.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not asking that like I wish you were, because I think it's important.
No, it's important.
I don't donate to anyone other than a charity that is Smith County.
Right.
Because I figure it's got to be each community on its own.
Right. And it's just, if in terms of fundraising and giving, we can have the most.
I know you'll take money wherever you get it. I know that.
Yeah, we'll take, but having the biggest impact, you want to...
On the people that are living here.
Right. You want to scale that. And if you're giving money, don't you want to help your neighbors? That to me, that
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The golden rule.
Exactly. And I think that it is a selling point for fundraising, that every dollar that you give to the Alliance, it stays in Smith County.
Well, Bonnie, we've certainly got to know you way better than we knew you before. Very interesting person, very interesting career.
Thank you.
Clearly you were successful and are successful now.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and talking to us about Alzheimer's, because I'm sure, like me, we've learned an awful lot more about the disease than we knew. And hopefully this reassures people that this resource is available and they can call.
Yes, please do. Obviously, we're online, alzalliance.org. You can drop me a line. I'm Bonnie at alzalliance.org is my email. I'd love to talk to anyone. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Right. Anybody who's just, they feel moved to donate. They feel moved to help, and after listening to this, they say, well, this sounds like, a good organization. They can go to your website.
Yes.
I know there's a fundraiser, a luncheon every year called the Butterfly Luncheon, I believe.
Yep, Butterfly Hope Luncheon, yeah.
And the butterfly is 2 A's backwards.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at
Alzheimer's Alliance.
I looked at your logo, Chris. Yeah. I mean, hit their logo. Let's go up here real quick on the way out. Can you? There we go. I mean, I'm assuming the butterfly is the 2 A's right there.
Yep.
And that's where it came from.
Yes, and unrelated. I love butterflies, but the butterfly effect.
Yes, I mean, you do a little something here, it could go around the world.
Exactly.
All right, Bonnie. Thank you. That's a good thing to end on,
yes,
and
sir.
I appreciate you coming.
Thank you. My pleasure. My honor. Thank you.